Alright, so today we're going to be doing the fillable form in Microsoft Word, and this is another piece of your SBA. So the first thing you need to do is to enable the developer tab. So these are your tabs. The developer tab is currently not there. You have to bring it up in order for you to be able to create a fillable form. So you go to File, then Options. Right, and you look at the steps, and then on this in this section on the right, you're going to select developer, click OK, and here we have it. All right, so let me just go ahead and start. All right, so on the developer tab, you will have the various options for you to be able to do. Remember, for your SBA, you must have a date picker, um, checkbox, combo box, as well as text boxes. All right, so let me say first name. So it all depends on what is required based on your SBA. Go ahead and put that. Let's say we're trying to figure their date of birth. Maybe gender. What else would we need options for? We could say subjects. Mm, and we could say grade. Alright, so on my developer tab, I'm now going to insert these options that the user would use when filling out this form. So in order for it to look a certain way, you want to ensure that the formatting is neat and tidy. So you notice I sort of have the same spacing rather between these. I use bold font for it to stand out so they know exactly what it is that we're looking for. So I'm gonna use the tab keys. Let me just set a tab so we know already where we want the tab to be. Right? So we're going to use the tab key, and then we're going to insert. Alright, so this one says rich text control, this one says plain text control. You can use either based on your preference. You also have other options in this section that you can use as well. I just like to go ahead and use this option. Alright, and I'm going to be consistent, so the same one I use here, I'm going to use it back here. All right, so for date of birth now, you're going to select this option that looks like a calendar for the date picker. So this will allow the user to be able to select the date um, based on what it is that you are trying to ascertain. For the gender, I don't want to use the checkbox. I am going to use this option that says option button in the active X controls. So once I select that option, it gives me this radio button. What happened is it gives me a caption that says option button. This is what the form looks like currently in design mode. So if I check this option, this is what the form will look like to your user. This doesn't make sense as it is to your user. So you want to ensure that the form makes sense, that is also a part of your marks. So I'm going to change the option to male, and then I add another one and change it to female. So I'm going back to design mode, and once I'm in design mode, I ensure that the box is selected, and once it is selected, I click on properties. When I click on properties, I look for this option that says caption, and then I can change the caption to what I want it to be. So I want it to be male. If you also realize, the font is different from what I have here, so I want to ensure that it looks uniform and it makes sense to the user, it is presentable. So I'm going to also change the font type to Times New Roman, which is what I've been used. Alright, then I'm gonna do the same thing for female. Click on here. Alright. So once I'm finished with this, I can now close this option, and then I'm going to add the control that I want for subjects. So I'm going to use this option that says combo box. You can use that one, or you can use the drop down list depending on your choice. I'm going to use both of them. So for this section, I'm going to use the combo box control. Once again, you have to go to properties in order to edit. So I'm going to add some subjects. All right. You can put a title here if you want, but I'm just going to add the subjects. So science is the same, but it's just the last one. Alright. So once you are through adding these subjects, you're going to select OK. And again, you have to exit the design mode to see the form as the user. Alright, so let's go ahead and enter for grade. So again, I said I'm going to use the drop down list for this one. I have to go to properties, and then I'm going to do the same thing I just did. So I'm just going to say just order. One more. Alright, and again the user will see these. I'm gonna add one last one that I didn't add before, just to say, let's say we're asking them if they are registered. So for this option, you want them to select yes or no. So we can use this option, which is the checkbox option, right? And they would tick the box if they are registered. So it would look like that once it is ticked. Alright, so this is what your form would look like. You can insert your header if it is required, and so on, as well as you can choose other layouts. this is what your form would look like to the user. If you want to make any edits, you can go to design mode and do so. Just ensure that you have at least four of these options, at least three of these options rather, and the form, it is easy to follow and it is pleasing to the eye. Once that is done, you will more than likely receive your full marks.